What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today I'm here to just talk about the new One Piece opening, because the new One Piece opening was just amazing. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I highly advise doing that, although I will say, if you are an anime-only watcher, as in, like, you never read the manga at all, I probably would steer clear of it because it does give you quite a lot of spoilers, and because of that, this video is going to be talking about some manga related stuff and just some scenes that were in the opening. So if you guys are anime only watchers, you probably should skip this video. If you are a manga reader, you can continue, because I don't want to spoil people out there. But we have some really cool stuff to look forward to in 2024 for One Piece Treasure Cruise. You know, once the Wano stuff is over, which is seemingly never at this point, but once it does conclude and we start moving into the Egghead related stuff, we are going to be getting some amazing stuff this year. So I just want to go through a couple scenes in the opening, give my opinions on how we could potentially see a themed batch or legend or big celebration around stuff that we see this year, okay? So first thing is first, I do think Dr. Vegapunk is going to be getting a legend, whether it be a Super Sugo Fest exclusive or a generic legend. I mean, look, they debuted Green Bull as a treasure map legend, so I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of the legends here debut as, you know, exclusive legends for specific game modes, or whether they just be straight up Super Sugo Fest exclusives. But Dr. Vegapunk is obviously massive, would love to see him get some representation, and not only him, but also the other versions of Vegapunk, and I wonder how they're going to do that. Like, are they going to make each individual form of Vegapunk, you know, its own separate unit? If that's the case, I think that's actually pretty cool, and then you can have a full team of Vegapunks. Dude, that would be amazing. I hope that they do that, and of course, you know, he'd be a Cerebral focused character. Maybe Cerebral will finally be good in Pirate Rumble. We'll have to wait and see. At least offensively. Defensively, Cerebral are very good. Offensively, in Rumble, not very good. But, yeah, Dr. Vegapunk, he'd be awesome. I don't know what they would do specifically, but I would love to see some really cool, unique mechanics for this character. I would hate if they debuted this big unit in Vegapunk with some generic abilities that we've already got, you know. Give him something unique that we haven't seen before. He deserves it. Would love to see it. And even just in this artwork as well, you've also got the Cypher Pole Zero behind them. Stussy obviously would be pretty big this year. Don't know if she would get a legend. Potentially she might. Maybe a game mode exclusive legend. Could be a Rumble legend. Who knows? But also Kaku and Lucci. And we'll talk about Lucci a bit later. But Kaku could also get some representation this year as well. We've got some really cool stuff to look forward to, man. I'm so excited for this year. We get into the big boys. Law and Kurohige, Blackbeard. Dude, this is going to be a big one, and, you know, for actually a couple of different reasons. Not only is, like, Law a fan favorite character, Blackbeard obviously one of, if not the biggest villain in the series, and he would be a pretty cool character to see once again getting some more representation. It is a bit unfortunate, though, because a lot of the Blackbeards that debut are actually pretty bad. Honestly, they're not that great. So I would like to see a really top tier version of Blackbeard. I will say, like, Whitebeard versus Blackbeard that came out in 2023 is actually really good. So would love to see a new high level version of Blackbeard. You know, maybe they save everything in this video for like a massive Super Sugo, you know, in May or something like that. That would be pretty hype. But, I mean, Law, and as well, remember, in this fight, we see the gender swap version of Law's crew, you know, with Beppo, Sachi Penguin, and Law himself. So it would be pretty cool if we got to see some of that in Treasure Cruise as well. But not only that, I mean, we just talked about the crew of Law, but the crew of Blackbeard as well. We see some of the Blackbeard pirates in this fight, you know, specifically Van Orga that showcase his new Devil Fruit. So, you know, with a theme around this, that would be pretty cool too. And Beppo in his Sulong form too, like, we could see some really cool stuff in regards to the Law and Blackbeard fight, and they could make a really cool batch focused around this. You could have a Blackbeard batch, you could have a Trafalgar Law batch, and you could even just go straight up and just do a versus unit too, because that could also work out pretty well. But this is a fan favorite one that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. Now, one of the ones that I'm looking forward to the most this year is this. I cannot wait. I mean, I saw memes about it, but like they literally animated the entire fight of Shanks and Kid in this opening, which is crazy to see, right? But I mean, Kid, I don't really care about Kid all that much, but Divine Departure, Redhead Shanks, I am here for it, dude. I cannot wait to see what they're going to do in regards to that. I mean, we had the 9.5 anniversary Shanks in November of 2023. That unit, in my opinion, is still very good and works well in a lot of content. And I am very much looking forward to seeing how they're going to do Divine Departure Shanks. Maybe they take a little bit of what Roger and Odin, do in terms of nullifying the removal of beneficial effects as a captain, despair removal as a captain, because that's exactly what Roger does. Would love to see some Roger representation in Divine Departure Shanks. That'd be sick as hell. Potentially, we could get, new versions of Dory and Broggy as well. In this potential batch, some more, Redhead Pirates, of course, more representation, and new releases of Redhead Pirates, Beckman, Lucky Ru, Yasop, Hongo, Howling Gab, like characters like that would add to the past released Redhead Pirates characters, like in 9.5 Anniversary Shanks. For his super class, you need those Redhead Pirates on your crew. If they bring out new versions of them, not only does it help a new Shanks, but it also helps the old Shanks too. I think it'd just make a lot of sense. And then on Kid's side, I mean, you've got Kid's crew like Heat, Wire, Killer, the other dudes that we don't even know who they are. This is the one I'm looking forward to the most, though, because this was the most insane chapter when it dropped. I couldn't believe what I was reading. But Shanks, he is the guy. He is that guy. So I really want to see this in 2024. Don't know how that would do it. I do feel like Shanks at this level, though, would probably be a Super Sugo Fest exclusive. I hope that's the case. We'll have to wait and see. This is also going to be a big one. Now, out of all the things that we've shown in this video, I believe this is the most likely to be a versus unit. I feel like this would be a great versus unit because it doesn't really, showcase super relevant characters in Treasure Cruise. And what I mean by that is, like, there's not a lot of Garps in Treasure Cruise. There's not a hell of a lot of Kuzans in Treasure Cruise. And if they bring out a versus unit for these two characters that don't get major representation in the game as a versus unit, it would make complete sense. Again, you could have like a new Kobe, you could have all of the other sword members that come along, you could have the representation of the Blackbeard pirates once again that were on Fuller Lead during this fight, like Avalo Pizarro with his island fruit. That would be cool to see that in this batch as well. But I feel like out of all of them, this is the most likely to be a versus unit because they're basically like on the same level as each other. At least in my opinion, in terms of power level, they feel around the same. Galaxy Fist Garp, you know what I'm talking about? I mean, Galaxy Fist Garp, to be honest, could just be his own dedicated Sugofest exclusive. But there's just so many cool moments within Egghead that we have to look forward to, man. I just cannot wait. But this, as a versus unit, I feel like lock it in. This is very likely to be a versus if we get any this year. We don't get them very often, but if any of them are going to get versus, I feel like it's going to be this one. So next on, we have this one here. Now, this one was shown in the opening, and I guess it's kind of cool because it's like, Zoro versus the Mihawk Seraphim. It makes sense thematically. I don't know if this one would get, specific representation like this particular fight between Zoro and the Seraphim, but just the Seraphim in general, I mean, I would love to see them in the game as their own dedicated units. We have the Mihawk, the Boa, the Jinbei, the Kuma, all of these characters, as their own dedicated units in Treasure Cruise. That'd be hype as hell. Would love to see that. I don't know if the Seraphim exactly would get Sugofest exclusives. Maybe they'll do like a Sugofest exclusive Sentomaru, potentially, right? And then, controlling the Seraphim or something like that. I'd be okay with that too. But then again, if they end up doing Legend Seraphims, I think that would be also pretty cool. And you can make them extremely durable. They have ways to tank a lot of damage. I think that would make sense. Even if you make it similar to Alba in a way, have some things from Alba in terms of as a captain being able to resist a bunch of debuffs. I think that would be pretty neat. And then you could have like a super tandem between all of the Seraphims. I don't know. They could do something like that. I have no idea. But, I mean, the Seraphims and Zoro, for sure. But then the final one here, Luffy and Lucci. Now, I don't think this would be a versus unit. I feel like we're probably never going to get a versus unit as Luffy as one of the sides, because Luffy just gets so much representation in the game. I just don't think it makes a hell of a lot of sense. But what I will say is that this would be a really cool batch. Luffy and Lucci, even though this isn't really much of a fight. Like, Luffy's basically toying with him pretty much throughout the entire fight. But seeing Lucci in his awakened Zoan form, with the black smoke around him would be amazing. And whether they do this as his own dedicated legend, which I think is likely going to happen, they could also do it in another way, where they give the Dex CP0 Lucci a super evolution into this Rob Lucci. That could also make sense, though I'd be kind of pissed about that. They could, give it to Rob Lucci. I'd be okay with that. Awakened Zoan form, new dedicated legend for sure. And then, like, a new version of Gear 5 Luffy. And even though, the current Gear 5 Luffy in Treasure Cruise is the best legend in the game, you know, just give this new Gear 5 something a little bit different. You know, and I feel like the unevolved artwork, or even the evolved artwork, would be him with the goggles. I think that would be hype as hell if they decided to do that for one of his artworks. I'm excited for it, man. But, you know, the Luffy and Lucci stuff, that's cool and all, but, man, like, the other stuff we already talked about, like, Vegapunk getting new characters in the game is always fun. Lord Blackbeard would be a bunch of fun. Divine Departure, Shanks, the homie, and then Garp and Kuzan too, man. Like, we just got so much cool stuff to look forward to, but that's gonna wrap it up for me. These are just some characters and some things that I picked up on throughout the opening that I think gets me really excited, you know, for what we could expect in Treasure Cruise for 2024. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. What are you guys expecting in 2024 from the Egghead stuff? Now, look, I don't think they're going to go too far into where the manga is right now. I feel like it's going to, you know, not include some of the stuff we've seen recently. Of course, you know, the manga is quite far ahead compared to the anime, so you do have to keep that in mind. But in the early stages of Egghead, we've got a lot of cool stuff to look forward to. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.